Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Chaos Within podcast.
On the most exciting week of the year, Assassin's Creed launch week.
If I got my bearings correct, episode 10. We made it to episode 10.
Wow, double digits.
Double
hey,
digits.
hey.
Double
Our
digits.
podcast is almost a preteen.
This is true. So, this week, housekeeping notes. Prior to this episode coming out, there should be an episode that we recorded earlier, as in a mock episode.
It was our pilot.
Technically.
It was our pilot episode.
It's everything to do with Assassin's Creed. So, and depending on when you see this, maybe it's before or maybe it's after you. We'll see. We have a whole thing of us talking about Assassin's Creed and sharing our thoughts through the series as a whole. So, yeah, look forward to that.
Mostly my thoughts because John's a hater, but we can't all be winners with good opinions.
It's everything after Odyssey is your thoughts. Mm-hmm. Before that, it's a conversation. Okay. I think that's a fair statement.
I guess I'll take that. That is acceptable to me.
As for today's episode of the podcast, we are going to start with a game that you finished recently.
Yes, played it in a week.
What is the name of that game?
So I played Split Fiction this last week. I played it on stream with my husband. This was honestly a natural game for me to pick up. I know I've mentioned it here a few times already. It is a true co-op game. And when I say true co-op, I mean there is no aspect of this game that you can complete without your partner doing their half. You're 100% reliant on each other. So if someone dies, you gotta wait till they're back or you're both dead, depending on what's happening in the game at the time. And honestly, it was a truly incredible game. The way that I play games a lot of times, I feel like I can kind of predict what's going to happen next in certain situations. And while I was able to accurately predict some plot points because I could tell by the character's behavior some certain things were happening, I could not ever predict what was going to happen in some of those quests. Like, there was a point where we were pigs that went through the journey of just being happy little piggies to being hot dogs that were eaten. There was one where I was a tooth, and I eventually had to fight the dentist. There's like everything all over the place. And it was really cool how it split between being sci-fi for one of their stories and then fantasy for their other side of the story. And then it just found a way to kind of seamlessly meld those things together. So it didn't feel disjointed, which I feel like that's something that's really easy to do when you're combining so many different stories and so many different side quests, because the game is really it's like the way that it's told is it's a collection of short stories from the two main characters that they wrote at any point in their life. And I say at any point in their life because the Pegida sausage, hot dog, whatever section was when she was a little girl learning about how sausage was made. And then the part with the tooth was also the other character, Mio, which is the character I played, her 5th birthday. And that was the very first short story she ever wrote. So it was covering stories throughout their entire span of their life. And they did it in such a masterful way. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about this game was the endless Easter eggs. It felt like you were playing a different game almost all the time. There were tiebacks to some of my most favorite games of all time. There was a tieback to like Star Fox 64. There was little things like there was a whole section that really gave me like Mario Party vibes. There was a Sailor Moon transformation randomly in the middle, which if you know anything about me, you know that that's probably the part that I enjoyed the most about the entire game. So it's one of those things you kind of have to really pay attention because you don't want to miss anything, and you explore because you don't want to miss like a side alley that just happens to have a side story that you can go into, or just happens to have an Easter egg that you don't want to miss. So honestly, overall, it was incredible. I would probably rank it amongst top 3 of my favorite co-op games of all time. I had a great time with it. I'm really excited for you to come back and play it through with me because I think it's going to be amazing to play through again, especially knowing what I know now. And yeah, if you like co-op games or if you have someone that you like playing games with, I would highly recommend it. I think it is absolutely insane that with one copy of the game, both people can play. It's $50. And if you do like all the side quests, it's roughly 16-ish hours of playtime. And that really is dependent on your skill level as well, because there's a lot of things that require some very intense timing. And like the whole final boss battle is absolutely insane, but I will not spoil that for you because if you haven't played the game yet, I don't want to give you anything that's a true spoiler, but it was just, I don't know, it was a beautiful game. The graphics were beautiful, the storylines were beautiful. The little brief side stories were absolutely hilarious. You can tell that this 100%, again, is a game that is made by devs that love the game. They love making games. They love putting their heart and soul into the games that they make. And honestly, I saw an interview from one of the devs talking about what they have coming next is even better. And with how this leveled up from It Takes Two, I am so excited. I will pre-order it right now knowing nothing about the game. Like, I have full faith that they will do it justice because they truly love making games. So, in saying this, EA, this message is not for you. Do not buy them, please. Leave them alone. Let them do what they're doing.
If I remember correctly, this is the same either interview where he was talking about that they felt like they settled on a lot of things here as well, something along those lines.
Which is insane to me.
And I was like, yeah, it's like what did you feel like you settled on? Like I need to know. Like I would love to, like, if they ever do like a developer documentary or sorts or just release stuff like after the game, I would love to watch to see like what the original vision of the game was. Like what did they leave on the cutting room floor? If that,
because I mean, you saw the boss battle, the final one. Like that whole boss battle was the most insane thing I've ever done in a boss battle in any game ever.
That boss battle had so many references to other stuff that it's crazy.
Yes, it was incredible.
From my experience, which is just watching you mostly play it, I'm happy I experienced it the way I did, which is because our schedules don't really align as much. But I feel like I got my hour in, got to see whatever was going on, missed a whole bunch of important stuff in between. Yep. I enjoyed my viewing experience of it, but from the times I did jump in, it felt like you were always playing an entirely different game.
Yep.
Like it's like, okay, these two characters are present, but whatever is going on is completely different from the last. Like I think I feel like in the beginning, I remember y'all were playing on I would say Tron. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And then the next time I saw you guys were fighting dragons and looking like Lord of the Rings or something, and it was just all over the place. And then
there was Contra and
Yep.
It was Metroid, and
it just feels like so many different throwbacks to games, and I'm excited for the stuff that I didn't see. So y'all made me interested in playing it. I know I'm gonna get yelled at a lot, but that's a story for a different day.
That's all right. Like, here's the thing: this game is a relationship test, no matter what the relationship is. Because me and my husband have a very chill, we don't really argue. Like that's just how we function as a couple. But there were some moments there as I was streaming where it was getting a little tense between us because he was getting frustrated or I was getting frustrated. We were both getting frustrated. So it was one of those, all right, let's sit for a second. I'm going to take a sip of my soda or whatever I have over here to snack on. Then we'll pick back up and keep going. So I feel like that's something that's fully expected. That's how you learn how to collaborate with people. So, if the episodes that come out after us playing that game are worse, it's because the collaboration went really bad.
Just going to be nah, I don't even want to talk about this. There's not going to be an episode next week. We couldn't do it.
Yeah. I really just can't look at his face right now. He doesn't understand timing, so
I can't wait to see what comes next from this studio, because I believe this is the same guy who's popular at every video game award for saying something that's pro consumer. Yusuf Faris.
He's the guy that said fuck the Oscars.
That guy.
Yep. That guy. He's that guy.
That guy.
Which, that's the thing. I want that guy to make games, because apparently that guy makes incredible games. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when games are made by gamers that love games. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm so I'm a huge fan of the indie developers and the things that they come out with, and I try to support them as much as I can, because they're the future of gaming. They truly are. And so long as we can protect them all from EA, we'll be fine. Because if the next game came out and it was loaded with microtransactions, I would cry.
And like it's even more telling that this game, I think in its first week, sold 1 million copies. I think as of right now, like I gotta go fact check myself, but I feel like at 2 weeks is at 2 million copies, or just maybe
Yeah.
1 week. Maybe I got this
Because
switched out, but I know it sold a
I
lot.
think a lot of people didn't really know what to expect, and if you didn't play It Takes Two, you really don't understand how co-op functions in the worlds that they create. But I think as people started posting clips of all the wild side quests and main quests that they were doing, they were like, wait a minute, this actually looks really cool. Like, I had several people comment on like some of the clips where I posted like funny little sections of the game, like, what is this? Oh, this is cool. And I would give them like a mini review, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy that. Like, I need to play this myself. This looks awesome. So I feel like that's just one of those games, it's really carrying through word of mouth, but also the reviews that have come in for this game from literally everyone, like, have been absolutely insane. It's getting, I don't know if there's another game that's been reviewed as well as this one that has come out this year so far.
I feel like this will probably, by the time we get to the end of the year, I know it's way too early to have this conversation, but it's probably going to be in the Game of the Year conversation.
It better be, although we don't really have any faith in that one ever going fairly, because it feels like that's a category that gets bought at the Game Awards, and I hate to say that, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll get lucky.
We'll see, because I don't even know what else. At this point, I don't even know what else is a contender. So
yeah, I don't know, because like I feel like I'm gonna love Assassin's Creed, but it's not gonna touch this for me. I had so much fun playing that game, and it reignited something in me that I just hadn't felt for a while in games. I was playing a lot of games and I was enjoying them, but this was like the pure joy that I got to experience at the nostalgia of that game, of the laughs that we had. And it's not like, it wasn't an impossible to play game. It had just enough difficulty that it didn't feel easy. And there were some parts that we did have to do a couple times over to get the timing just right, or to figure out what the puzzle was. But like, there was nothing in it that felt like, oh, we're just breezing through this. And me and my husband have both been gaming our entire lives. But it's also not so difficult that like a casual gamer can't come in and be like, oh, like I just can't do this. It might take you a little bit longer to get the timing down or to figure out the puzzle, but like it's completely doable. They bridged a gap, and like I feel like they bridged the gap in the way that Nintendo bridges game gaps. They make games for everybody.
Yeah, and it's like even like throughout the game. I mean, I'm not gonna say like where it happened, but like there was, you know what I'm talking about. There was a part where the most trippiest thing happened of you guys both playing at the same time, navigating two different maps that keep changing as you rotate the camera.
Yeah,
that was the most trippiest thing I've seen.
That was so hard to play.
Like, I was like, whoever, like, just the idea of it. It's like, I would love to know, because I think another game,
that guy needs a raise, or that girl, whoever did it, whoever came up with that idea, they deserve a raise.
Because there was I think it was a horror game, I think, that did something like that, in terms of like you have two different worlds that you're navigating at the same time, so there's different puzzles on different sides, but the way that Split Fiction does it, it's just completely different. Like, just
it was simultaneous, and it moved with you. Like it was truly like where you moved, it decided to go. So that means they fully built out that world and layered them on top of each other.
Yep. And so what would you give a final score?
For me, I know. For me, it is very rare for me to ever like give a game this kind of score, but I would say maybe a 9.5 out of 10. And I'm only taking off the 0.5 because I wish the game was longer. I wish I had more to play. I really do.
I was about that. That was going to be my follow-up question. What would have got it to a 10?
Like, give me like another 4 hours at least. Like, I want to play more, which I feel like kind of puts it in the, like, it was really, for me, it was a perfect game. I enjoyed it.
So, just on your playthrough alone, does it have replayability value to you?
Oh,
not even 100%. That you just want to play it with somebody else. That you just feel like you could just go play it.
Oh, I could. I could replay it with Rick, and I'd still have fun with it. Because I feel like it just gave you so much variety. Like, that game is an ADHD person's dream because it's not consistent. You're like, you never know what type of game, what type of strategy you're going to be playing through next. And I like that it kept me on my toes. Because like I said, for the most part, I couldn't predict what was going to come next. Like I kind of understood where the characters' storylines were going to go, but I never knew what was going to happen in the short story we were coming up against. I could never predict that. And I like that. I like that in the game.
Like just mysteriously carrying a prince in a baby carrier.
Oh my god, that freaking prince. The way that I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was like, this grown-ass man is currently being carried on the back of this woman because he can't touch the ground with his feet. Like, what is happening? And then she just places him gently to sit down on the boat. Like, this crazy. But that's the kind of stuff you get, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who would have thought you'd be a pig and a tooth and like a pencil sketch drawing and a baboon or fairy or axolotl type thing all in one game?
Mm-hmm. Just to keep it on your toes. Like, just never know what to expect next.
Yeah. Is it going to be a dragon? Is it going to be a shark? Is it going to be a spaceship? You don't know.
I'm kind of curious, like, would this game ever get DLC?
Oh. I don't know. That they never did anything like that for It Takes Two. Like, I feel like they put out complete games and they leave it at that. So right now, like, this game is out, it's done. They're working on the next one already. I love that. Like, I wish it could come out tomorrow because I would buy it.
And now we're gonna see what better is.
I know. I just truly, my brain cannot comprehend what could be better than this because it was a great game.
So I'm going to move forward. And okay. I'm going to talk about a game that I'm playing on stream right now. Or, you know what? A game I'm not going to say I'm playing on stream.
How many hours did you get into it today?
I think in total I played 4 hours. No, 3.5. 3.5 hours probably. I started playing Metaphor ReFantazio. So this is a game from Atlas. I feel like I may have talked about it in another podcast episode, but just in case I haven't, I really enjoy Atlas games. Atlas makes the Persona series, and I became a Persona fan at Persona 5. The game was my initial experience with Persona 5 was it was a game on PlayStation Plus. I forget whatever the service is called, but it was one of those games that it was on the service, could play it for free, and I literally caught it in the last 30 days of it existing. I started playing it and I fell in love with it. Then probably a month after I finished playing it, that's when they released Persona 5 Royal, which I think is the greatest video game of all time. And yeah, then I went backwards, played Persona 4, which I absolutely love in terms of story. And then Persona 3 recently came out, played through that. I still need to go back and play the DLC for that. But Metaphor ReFantazio came out, and life events prevented me from getting it when it came out, and I totally forgot about it. And I got it now. So my initial impressions of the game is I am absolutely enjoying it because it feels like an evolution of the systems of Persona. I'm going to say Persona 3 right now because that was the last one that came out in terms of just because it's a remake of Persona 3. So they added on top of Persona 5 Royal system. Mm-hmm. So Metaphor just feels like they took more to it. And when I first started the game, I think you had joined the stream, I mentioned to you, like, oh, this is not the game I thought it was in terms of a turn-based RPG, because that's what I'm used to. But they actually take two systems and meld it together in terms of if your character is high level, right, from my understanding of it. So if I got this wrong, anybody feel free to correct me. If the character is
correct him loudly, please.
If the character is a higher level than most of the people or the enemies on the map, it's just a simple, you go up, hack and slash, and you move on, you get your experience, so you don't have to go through the whole process of starting a turn-based battle and all that. You just, hey, you're powerful than them, you're gonna win, move on. And then the next people you see, then it's an actual turn-based system that I'm used to playing. I'm enjoying since I was three hours at this point, I'm enjoying it's called archetypes. So they are what were personas in the last game, and the archetypes is basically the power within the game. I'm not really sure how to explain it further than that because I'm not that far, but as I explained on stream, the thing about Atlas games is usually the first, I want to say 6 to 10, somewhere in that range. That's all like just tutorial. It's just like getting to know the game, getting to know the world, getting to understand the systems. Like that is what that whole first section of the game is dedicated towards. And once you get past that point, the game completely opens up and lets you go do you. We gave you everything you need to know. Go figure it out now. So I'm enjoying just the world building. I'm trying to understand this humans thing. As is apparently
Those did not look
humans,
like humans.
yeah, humans are monsters
No.
in this world, but it does. It
I
starts.
mean,
the
they
game-
are.
This is true. That's what I said on stream. I was like, you know what? Like when I think about it,
They just don't look like that.
yeah, but the game starts out like literally tell you this is a world of fantasy, and it asks you like, you start with like characters saying, "Oh, you can see me." Then he says, "But I can also see you." And he asks, "What is your name?" You as in actual name. So you put your name, and then he asks, "Oh, so in a book of story, what do you think of like fantasy? Do you think fantasy is limited to only your mind?" So then you answer the question, and then he responds, "Oh, that's very interesting response, but I haven't decided on what my answer is." And then he goes, "Well, in this world of fantasy, just remember as you responded, you don't believe that there's a limit to what fantasy is." So then you proceed with the story. So just seeing this thing of just trying to understand what these different characters' social system, because this is definitely a social clash in the game, and just trying to get the hang of the understanding of that, what these characters, like my character is an Elder, and trying to figure out what an Elder is exactly. But as far as we see, the Elder is they're shunned by society. It just seems like. Why, I'm not really sure yet. But as far as this human thing, I can't wait to see what the explanation of what this human thing is. So I can't. At this moment, I don't know how consistently I'm going to be streaming this game, because turn-based RPGs are very slow, and if the story is not moving at a fast pace, people get bored. So this is something I'm gonna continue playing. So I may not be entirely only playing on stream. I might just pop up every once in a while at this point. But yeah, at this moment, I'm very happy with at least the beginning. This makes me excited for the next Persona game, which I know they're working on, because when you string these games together and see what Atlas does with systems and stuff in games, it's just beautiful. Like I used to think that Persona 5 was a perfect game, and then they made Persona 5 Royal, and it's like, how do you make perfect more perfect? Like, so yeah, that is Metaphor ReFantazio. My first impressions on it. Yeah.
And I think it was interesting for me because full transparency, while I was watching John play today, I was actually getting a tattoo. So it's like I was paying attention, but not, because I was having conversation with the tattoo artist and things like that. And it was funny because like we would both look up at the TV screen and be like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like fighting an egg with legs, and I'm like, "Okay." And then like I look up again, he's fighting a bird, but it has a fully human upper half and a bird bottom half. I'm like, they keep calling these humans, but like where? There was one that had like 4 legs and looked like its butt was a strawberry, but it wasn't really a butt. It was just a strawberry bottom that connected all the. It was very strange. Like,
and it was
so none of that stuff looked human.
And that's why I'm sitting here like, I just, when they finally explain why are we calling this humans?
Yeah.
Because I feel like somehow they're just going to be, by
Yeah, it
the
doesn't
time we
make
get
sense.
into the game, there's going to be some crazy plot twist that humans was us, and somehow we evolved into something else. But we'll see. We shall see. I can't, like, these games usually, I want to say, like, looking it up, this game is like 65, about 65 hour long playthrough. Persona games for me take a while, only because I kind of explore. So I can't wait to see where, like, I know there's more characters to be met, all those archetypes, like what the system is, what the character, his name is Moore, who wrote this book. He has his own special place that only the main character can see him. There's just like so much tidbits that's being introduced early on. It's like, can't wait to see what this evolves into. So
I'm excited to see it in all of its weirdness. We'll see what happens. Like, I feel like next time you play, I'll probably be able to pay a little bit more attention, so I'll be able to understand a little bit more. But from what I saw, the art style on that looked incredible. It felt like you were playing an anime. Like, whenever you had those really cool cutscene sections, it looked like an anime, which I thought was really cool.
and that's what lured me into Persona 5, because at first I was like, okay, it has that style that's anime,
Yeah.
but then they actually use anime cutscenes and stuff. But then, because I don't want to say life simulator, but that's what Persona 5 kind of has going for it, because you play as a high school student and
Yeah.
you're going through the days, so you literally have to balance life, which is balancing social relationships, balancing making sure you're a good student, increasing your social stats, which is what, smarts, luck. I can't remember. It's been a minute. But yeah, there's 5 social stats that you have to balance with these, which they do in this game. But I forgot what it was called. But it is basically it's 5 different stats, and they're viewed as the qualities of a kid. I forgot
Yeah.
exactly what it's called. So when getting into that system, because I didn't even dive into how to balance that system out yet in the game, but these are like things that's just like a whole bunch of different stuff playing out in the background. So you have, like the going into the world and doing this, but balancing all these systems. And I already see like the day, because you're progressing days, and it's constantly telling you, hey,
Yeah.
we have 4 days left until this is going to happen at the Capitol, and we need to be there. So I see you past the point of when this opens up, it's going to be kind of the same thing of the Atlas system, saying, okay, it's probably you need to get to this point, but you have this amount of days to get there. How fast you get there is completely up to you, but
Yeah.
hey, we just tell you that this is the day you need to be there. So can't wait to see.
So do it.
Exactly. And keeping up with video games.
Yes.
Xbox. Okay, so there's a report by Jez Cordy. He is a social media personality. I think he works for Microsoft. He released a report saying that there's going to be an Xbox console, a new Xbox console in 2027, and an Xbox handheld maybe coming later this year. Adding a little bit more context to that, it's not Xbox making a handheld. It is a partnership, a collaboration. And then somebody else followed up on that report saying that they don't believe that whatever it may be is coming later this year. It could be a 2026 thing. So, thoughts?
Well, I feel like it's really interesting now that Microsoft is kind of dipping their toe into the handheld market. Now that they've had this really good collaboration with Nintendo on a lot of different things. So it'll be exciting to see where that goes. I won't necessarily say I'm the target audience for this, because I think at this point I've fully invested in more PC gaming than anything. And I feel like that's probably Microsoft's strong suit, is that they can cater to all audiences, because you can get all of their games on PC as well. You don't really need to have any of their consoles, and I'm pretty sure with the way I'm building my PC, it's going to be way more powerful than whatever they come out with anyway. So it is what it is. But I also think it's interesting that they announced not 1 but potentially 2 different systems coming out pretty close together, and I'm wondering if that's going to be something that hurts them, because it's so much, especially with the economy as it is right now, which we're not going to get too deep into it. But when eggs are like $8 a dozen, does anyone really have money for 2 systems within a couple years? Not to mention there's rumblings of the PS6, there's rumblings of the Switch 2, like there's a lot happening. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what kind of price points we're looking at. As far as the handheld market, I feel like Nintendo's really got that one down. And for people that are really PC gamers, you have the, oh goodness, what's it called?
You have the ROG Allies of the world. You have the Steam Decks of the world.
Yeah, the Steam Deck, yeah. I think there was another one called Legion or something. Like there's a lot of different handhelds in the market already. So I think it's like an interesting choice for them to take on not 1 but 2 things, and one of them being a market that's kind of saturated as it is. But I mean, I'm taking a wait and see approach, because really we don't have a whole lot of information on it. We just have very basic, like, this is what's happening potentially in this timeline, and that's it. We don't have anything else. So
my perspective on the situation is, seeing as how it's more of a partnership, I feel it wasn't announced who the partner actually is, but I know one of these of at least the three we named, it's probably not the Steam Deck. Between the ROG Ally and Legion, I feel like it's the Legion Go. They have a close partnership working with Microsoft on it for the Windows operating system specifically. So if it ends up being them, I just feel like it's Microsoft just taking a stand behind whatever company, saying, "Hey, this is the one that we advertise. This is the one that we sponsor." I don't really feel like it's like whenever it comes out, it's going to be like Microsoft announcing that we made this. I feel like it's going to be, we are standing behind this. So in terms of that market, I wish that we go back to the times of like the PS Vita, PSP situation, but that's another thing. But it's an interesting product to be putting out because it does have its market. And if they have like a dedicated, just hey, like this is where we're going, it's interesting direction for them to go in. As far as the console, I don't really feel like there's new information. I feel like it's just more committing to 2027 is when we might see it.
And even then, that's a soft timeline, I think.
Yeah, because this felt like when the court case was happening. I don't know if you were into that with Activision. I feel like most of the details of that console or what it was going to be at that time, because it could have changed. Most of that is out in the wild already.
Yeah.
And like you said, I hate it, but I don't. The console wars don't really care about it. But we're at a very different stage of the game of where Microsoft is in its own race. They're doing what they want to do, how they want to do it. I don't even feel like when they put this console out, what is the emphasis going to be on it? There's rumors about they potentially may have a partnership with Steam, and this next console could literally be just a PC with an Xbox logo on it. And you can
because doesn't the Steam Deck run on Linux?
I believe so.
So maybe a Steam Deck with Microsoft on it?
I mean, like I said, allegedly, it's just a rumor because none of it is confirmed. But people are pointing out that, hey, like, if Microsoft was able to launch a console with Steam on it, that would be a big deal. That would be a very big deal. In terms of just having your Steam, anything you have on Steam that you could just download it.
It would close the gap for them for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a glorified PC, and like I said, I just feel like at this point they're running their own race. They really don't care what else is going on in the world. In terms of console sales, they'll probably never catch up. But with them just saying, hey, we're putting all these games on these platforms, I think recently it was just announced that Starfield may have a date coming out for when it touches PS5. So yeah, I don't think I saw somebody posted leaks from somewhere that it had a date attached to it, but I didn't really dive deep into that. But it's not unexpected at this point because they also just recently released Forza on PlayStation, which is that was an interesting choice at the time. And Indiana Jones is supposed to be coming at some point, so the way that they're going, they seem to be coming more just, hey, we're going to be making these games, put them out on Xbox first, but eventually they're going to be
so you could just wait till it comes to the console you want to play it on. I think honestly Microsoft should stick to what they're doing. Focus less on consoles and more on, we own all of these amazing games that all make money on their own. Let's focus on making more amazing games that can get played everywhere. I feel like that would be a better market for them, especially since they really do hold the market share for PC gamers. Most of them are running on a Microsoft-based system. Like, just, we got Windows. Give us the things. Like, just give us games and we'll play them. You don't need to give me another console. Like, I don't need another console. And I think we're in a weird place too, where like a lot of gamers are starting to turn more to PC gaming because they're realizing how much they miss out on when they're only focused on consoles.
Like when Microsoft started to invest, or just started to not even invest, they started to dabble in releasing games other places because it was a big, when it first started happening, I thought it was a good decision overall because I'm a believer more a game is available, that should be more money made for you. I mean, there's the console war fanboys of it all that believe in exclusives. I mean, I get it, but I'm past that point in my life where I don't have a specific loyalty to that console. I mean, you may hear me joke about my Xbox loyalty, but at the end of the day, if a game is available everywhere, that means it's available to more people. More people can play it, more people can enjoy games, and that's always good for everybody.
Can we just agree, though, if your game is going to be available everywhere and it has any kind of co-op, multiplayer, whatever functionality, can they just all be crossplay? Like, can they just all be crossplay? Because I feel like that, then we can all buy it in the place we're most comfortable and everybody's happy. And I know you'll get to the people with like Fortnite and they're like, I don't like playing with PC players. I want to play with just console players. Maybe make that an option. Maybe it's cross-play across consoles and not PCs. Like, just make it happen so that we can all just buy the game wherever we want to, and the devs will be happy because they're making money, and you'll be happy because you guys are not splitting market share unfairly. Like, you're just getting however many you're going to get anyway, and everybody can play with their friends. Like, that's the overarching goal. That was the whole purpose of gaming, and the advent of online gaming was now you can play with your friends without having to sit next to them. And now with all of this mess of it comes on every console, but you have to buy it on the same one, and it's like, no, like, give me crossplay, damn it. Jeez.
I feel like games that come out now, especially 2024 and forward, maybe 2023. If you make a multiplayer game that's on all platforms and don't have crossplay, that's a problem already.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
that's a strike. Strike. Like that makes no sense to me. Especially with a game as big as Dragon Ball. Like, that's a game that has a massive fandom community, but they're spread across a wide variety of systems. Why is there not crossplay in that? That's so dumb.
Yep. Just makes I don't understand the technical side of it, but at this point, it's just like, if we're making a multiplayer game, it should be crossplay. And the discussion, like,
and you'd sell more copies because some people will only buy that if they can play it with their friends. But if them and their friends don't have the same consoles, they're just not going to buy the game.
I would also love to normalize cross saves as well. So
I know, me having to restart Phasmophobia, which I understand, it's an indie game, still technically early access, but they brought the console and I had to start that game all from scratch, which was rough.
Like, I know this last one is asking for a lot, but I also appreciate, like, I only know it with Microsoft, so that's what I'm going to speak of. I buy it on my Xbox, but I can also play it on PC, download it without having to buy it again. I appreciate that so much. Like, when I was, I think Cyberpunk. No, it's not Cyberpunk. Wrong game. Persona. It was Persona. It's on Game Pass. So I played it initially on my Xbox, and then that's when I got my PC. And Persona 3 specifically, I picked up playing on my PC. Played the same save, didn't have to really worry about doing anything else. Worked like a charm. I was like, this is just a beautiful experience.
Yes, this is great.
Yes, let's normalize this part of it too. Come on, let's stop being money hungry people.
I know, because I'm not buying more than one copy of a game, but if you make it easier for me to access and play the game or play with my friends on a game, I'm much more likely to buy it. That's why, for me, games like Split Fiction, no brainer. I buy one copy and we can both play it, so we're not struggling to figure out who's gonna, like, what system or whatever. Like, we can play it together. And it goes through EA servers, so I think actually there might be cross-play in that. Maybe. I'm not really sure. I feel like there is, though.
Somebody's gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out, because I know that you're so anti PS5. So I was looking into that, but I didn't really take that much time because, of course, me and my husband both have PS5s, so I didn't have to think about it. But I'm fairly certain, since it goes through EA servers, we can play it from wherever.
It's okay. My PS5 is currently hooked up to my PC, so now you gotta strike while the iron is still hot.
Like, that's very true. That's true. So play it tomorrow. Got it.
So if it leaves here, then it's a whole nother. Then there's a problem. So
that's a you problem because you're reconnected.
So let's move on. Daredevil episode 3. It's
Oh,
fresher in your mind, so
it
I'll
is.
let you start.
But as always, if you have not watched the episode yet, skip to whatever time is like somewhere in this area so that you don't get any spoilers. Because I know sometimes people wait till the end or whatever. I just want to make sure that this is still spoiler free for you if you just want to skip forward. I thought it was really good. Really bummed about how the episode ended, but I also saw that coming. So it was like, you know, but I thought it was like a really good illustration of the world that's being built around there. It was a really good introduction of another character coming to the story now, which was interesting. It was, what was interesting for me was this was a case of the little guy who was trying to help the people, who got caught up in a bad situation with some dirty cops, and the justice system actually prevailed in his favor. And you don't get to see that very often, so it felt like a win. But then you also got reminded that Fisk, while he's, you know, trying to pretend he's a different guy, he is still that same guy. And he is still going to handle things the same way he always handles them. And someone's going to, you know, someone's going to take a bullet, and that's it. That's how he gets rid of his problems.
I don't think he had anything to do with that.
He's going to look like he did.
It's going to look like he did, but I don't think he had anything to do with that.
Oh, you think his wife did it?
I don't even think his wife did it. I don't think she has anything to do with that either.
He's gonna look real guilty though.
There's tidbits.
That interview's gonna come out, and he's gonna look like he did that.
There's things that happen in between that I feel like there's a lot of different setups happening.
Yeah. All he had to do was listen to his lawyer. Listen, you can't be this guy no more. And he was like, nah, man, like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And first night out.
Well, so this is me diving into comics a little bit with the White Tiger, and it just felt like him with the amulet of him saying even when he was in prison, it's not like just a mask that he puts on, it's him. So I just felt like when he suited up, it was like, dang, it's like an addiction kind of, right? Like he couldn't stop doing it. Like it's in his being. And I felt like most of the episode, even though it was about him, it's also questioning Matt as himself. Like a lot of it is, yes, I'm Daredevil, and you know, I'm trying to stand up for you, but I felt like a lot of it is like even him talking to him was a reflection on himself as well.
I feel like he's gonna go back to being Daredevil after White Tiger's death.
I think so because of the setup.
He was turning that ear in his, or not ear, the horn in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He was really thinking about it, and I think like that, how that episode ended with that one really hefty bullet from Punisher, interesting, is gonna be the thing that brings him back to it. He's gonna be like, all right, well, fuck this, like I'm done, I'm back, let's go.
I'm gonna comment on that, but first, before I get there, there was two pieces of the episode that I really enjoyed, and one of them was the BB report. I think that's what it's called.
Report, yeah.
Was the Spanish guy, because it's like we kept it real. When he goes, when he starts going on the tangent and saying, you know what, he said he's Puerto Rican. I forgot he said he's Spanish.
Yeah,
or he's Puerto Rican.
he said he's Puerto Rican. He said
like,
he's not gonna get a fair trial because he's Puerto Rican.
Exactly, he's not gonna get a fair trial because he's Puerto Rican.
It's New York.
Exactly. I was like, yes, we keeping it real. So when they got to the verdict, I sat there. I was like, he guilty. Like, I was just sitting there like, he's gonna find him guilty. And then it's like, it's not guilty. Like, I was like, what?
No, I kind of felt that coming, because I think if they're basing this off of like modern day, we're very much in the world of people are rooting for the little guy that's trying to fix the big problems. That's where we are. And like, not to get too deep in it, but look at the reaction to Luigi and what he did to that CEO. And people were rooting for this guy. And it's like, that's the world we live in now. So I feel like if they're trying to base any of this show on present day, the jurors are like, this guy's out here saving lives, and these cops are wasting their time sitting in this courtroom. So like, who am I going for? Who am I going to believe in? What's more likely, that these cops in New York City, one of the most corrupt institutions in the United States, maybe were dirty, or that this guy who seemingly just goes around saving people for ha-has was actually like doing the right thing and thought he was helping somebody.
And this is like when like I feel question, because like I said, a lot of this is supposed to be carrying over from the original series. It's like, how did, you know what, we won't get too real here, how did Wilson Fisk become mayor? Then I'm like, he was arrested, he had crimes against him, and they voted for him because allegedly he's good for the people,
which is crazy.
Uh-huh.
But when you think about it, what are we looking at? Like and this is not the kind of podcast that we are, but realistically, when we look at things transparently with the world we are currently living in this country, crimes apparently don't stop people from getting votes. So here we go.
So it's like they acknowledge that he was arrested and he was, in jail for a period of time, but it's still like, okay, so.
But who knows criminals better than a criminal?
Right, like just
like if you don't sit your goofy ass down.
Like there's a section here I need explained. Like I need this section explained. Like,
but it's not.
What is going on? Like
it's beyond explanation, because it was another one of those like really close. They were like, he's going to be the one that's tough on crime, probably because he has their direct phone numbers. You can call him up and be like, hey, cut that out. I don't know. Listen, I feel like that was supposed to be an uncomfortable moment, but also like it had to happen. And he's out there trying to, I feel like before that, the lead up to that was he was on his like vindication tour. Like, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm truly rehabilitated. The justice system rehabilitated me, and I want to do what's right for this city now because I know how much wrong there is in it because I was a part of that wrong. Like, I feel like that's the light that he kind of rode off in, and people were like, yeah, like he seems like he's way less terrible now, and now this BB report's gonna come out and White Tiger's gonna be dead, and they're gonna be like, oh no, he's still doing that.
So I gotta fill in the gap for you, right?
Oh no.
Yes, remember how I told you had to watch three seasons of a show plus 3 other series? A lot. So there's all that, and then there's also 2 other other shows.
It's getting worse by the minute.
There's 2 other shows. So I gotta give you some context for your viewing going forward. So when the Netflix stuff was reacquired by Marvel, Kingpin, Wilson Fisk's first appearance in a Marvel series, I believe, was Hawkeye. He appears as the leader or the man behind the Tracksuit Mafia in that show. You see the Tracksuit Mafia in this show. One of the guys at the table is literally wearing a tracksuit. So
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Pause. You say Tracksuit Mafia, and my brain immediately goes to the old people that walk around the mall early on Saturday mornings. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's like you said Tracksuit Mafia, and I was like, are they like senior citizens? But go ahead, keep going.
So
ADHD moment. Sorry, y'all.
So at the end of that series, he has adopted daughter named Maya Lopez. She has interactions with Hawkeye, and eventually she starts to see the evil that truly is Wilson Fisk. And it comes to a point in the series where she shoots him in the face, and he has a scar over his eye. I feel like you can't see that in the show. Maybe I'm blind, but I feel like you don't really see it much.
Yeah, they talk about an injury, but I'm like, where? Like, was it his body? Because I'm not seeing anything on his face.
Yeah, so he gets shot in the eye, and the next series that you see him in is called Echo, which has to do with Maya Lopez. She is of Native American descent. She has her superpower, sort of. She is kind of an assassin in the world. She's also she's deaf. I believe she's deaf. So she communicates through sign language. No, Daredevil's blind, but
no, but like she has like a major sense disability.
Yes.
So everything else is heightened.
Yes.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, I should have clarified. So like Daredevil, she has something that blocks out one of her major senses. So
yes,
she somehow becomes more powerful.
So her power is that she has the ability to commune with her ancestors. So she the way it is shown in the show is that they all have different things they can do. So you've seen an ancestor who was a cowboy, an ancestor who was like actual Native American descent and stuff like that. So she actually can, I want to say, either just see visions of what they've been through and kind of help clarify her, because that show was more about her soul searching. It wasn't really the most greatest of Marvel shows. I watched it, it's okay. But he reappears in that because she's the adoptive daughter, and when he comes back, he has a more defined scar over his eye, but in that eye he has an implant because he could never talk to her through sign language. So what he does is this implant, when she talks in sign, he can see it, and he also gives her, so he gives her a contact as well. When he's talking, it does sign language. So I'm interested to see if they come back to that. But at the end of that show, she has, I guess you can say, her power allowed her to see his trauma. His trauma when he was a child was that he killed his father because his father was abusing his mother. And it's something that he's always festered. So it's implied that she took that trauma and helped him to see past it and kind of bury that trauma. But it's not like in a good way.
The classic combo, mommy and daddy issues.
Yeah. So when you see him now and him saying he's a reformed person, that, you know, this is what he sees for the city, it's implied that it's coming. Yes, it's coming from that. He's still a corrupt Wilson Fisk, don't get me wrong, but it's
he's gonna look real bad next episode.
Yeah, this new clarity that he's seeing is supposed to be coming from the events of that show.
But it seems like his wife doesn't want to let go of that life.
Now, let me tell you,
and that's Vanessa, why they're in therapy.
Vanessa, because when we left the series off, Vanessa was like, I want to be in this too. So now when you see her again, she's actually leading it. And then, you know, he kind of took her out of it. So yeah. But wherever we go,
he kind of took both of them out of it, and like, we're gonna do this now instead. Mm-hmm. And she did not like that.
Oh yeah.
And now she's doing it behind his back.
Because Adam, that damn Adam. I don't even know who Adam is yet, but
we're gonna find out. I bet Adam is probably hot.
But circling back to what you said, Punisher, that's not Punisher.
That's 100% certain. But he's 100% certain.
Yes, he is. But I'm 100% certain it's not Punisher. It's a mislead. It's a misdirect. He probably will be in the series. At least it was confirmed he will be in the series. Mm-hmm. He may appear in next episode. But because earlier in the episode when they're in the court and they were trying to get the informant in, there is a cop who has that tattoo on his neck. So it's implied that there might be cops who deal out vigilante justice of their own. So I feel like that cop is there are probably people who worship the Punisher.
Yeah, but why do vigilante on vigilante violence? Like,
because at the end of the day they killed one of their officers, right? So that's how I'm viewing it.
But here's the thing. My mindset is always going to be, if dirty, let die. Fix whole problem.
But they're all dirty, right? Or allegedly.
It's Hell's Kitchen, yeah. So Hell's, they're...
Because I think you're also supposed to take the point of view when he was on the stand and he decided not to say nothing, is that he didn't know which cop is dirty and which cop is not. Because you had a couple cops who seemed like they was like, oh, like when it was revealed, White Tiger, there was some that was like, oh yeah.
I know that guy, he helped me out, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's others like, no, fuck that guy, you know, like, so it's just like, you don't know. And specifically with like the end, maybe I read too much into this, but if John Bernthal was supposed to be in that part, John Bernthal himself, even playing the Punisher, has a very distinguished walk around him. Like when you see John Bernthal walk, you know John Bernthal is walking. So, you know, if they just did that just to bring somebody in, I don't really think it makes sense. But also with his Punisher, the actual Punisher logo, it is less defined than what is going on his. Yeah, I pay attention to stuff like that. So that's why I don't feel like it's probably going to end up being Punisher did this. Like that's probably what they're going to paint it as, and he's actually going to show up.
I feel like it's going to be painted as Fisk had someone do this, because Fisk is putting out this whole thing about he's making sure justice is carried out, and the same night that dude gets gunned down, like it's This is gonna blow back on him big time.
And that's why I believe I take half of what you say, and I feel like it's going to be that he hired Punisher to do it. That's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we come back, because I also, I come from comic book stuff, so everything you see is always based on the comic book. So I know characters and stuff like that, but for the sake of this show, I'm not talking about comic books. I'm just talking about what I saw on the screen. When it comes to Punisher, even in the show, he's notoriously known as hating cops, because he doesn't believe everything he dealt with his own trauma. If you don't know Punisher's trauma, do you know Punisher's trauma?
I feel like I loosely remember it, but it's been a long time.
All right, his family was murdered because of a conspiracy that happened within the military in this series. So that's what he deals with when he shows up in Hell's Kitchen. He's basically like, everybody got to go. There's a beautiful
valid.
Yeah, I think there's a beautiful moment in one of the seasons. I'm probably going to send you the clip just so you can see it. But there's a Matt and him are having a conversation of like the ethics of what they're doing. Matt is saying that he puts people in jail because he always believes that everybody should have a second chance. And Punisher kills people because he feels like, while you keep putting these people in jail, at the end of the day they keep giving back out. So if I put a permanent end to them, there's nothing to be worried about. But Matt believes in hope.
He's like
Punisher,
Batman.
Exactly. So
and then Punisher is like Earth 1 Batman.
He's like, I believe in hope. And Punisher is like, I believe in just an end, absolute solution here. Yeah. So it's a very nice conversation in terms of watching it and just saying, seeing different two sides of the same coin, basically. So
I mean, it's a shorter story. If you kill everyone, then it's like, well, this is like a 3-episode show. All right, we solved all the problems. Where are we going next?
So I think I don't really got much else to say about it until next episode. I wish we had some.
I'm sad about White Tiger because I feel like that character really resonated with me when he was talking about the cookie and how they sing. Like, it brought me back to that time when I was visiting Puerto Rico a few years back, and like just hearing the sounds, and it does sound like they're singing, and it's such a beautiful, very calming sound. And I feel like that's something that would resonate with a lot of people. Like, if you're Puerto Rican, if you've been to the island, if you've had that experience, like, I don't know. So it was really, like, it was a bummer for me that the episode ends with him gone, but I knew it was coming because of him being able to get free.
In actual life, I'm not sure if you know this, but the actor that plays him passed away in real life. He lost his battle with cancer. Yeah.
I know. That's adds a layer to the bummer. It's
so this was, I believe, his last performance. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe this was the last thing he did before he passed away. He was actually actively dealing with it through this show. So
and you know what? But he hit it very well, and he played his role, and I think he played the character phenomenally. And it's another loss. It's
so in show world, I'm interested.
Thanks for bringing that down.
I don't know what you're talking about. In show world, I'm interested to see what happens with the mantle of the White Tiger. Where does it go next? Because I don't think, based on the actual popularity of the character in today's world, I just don't think that this is the end of the White Tiger.
Like someone else is gonna pick up and keep running.
In other facets of Marvel, the White Tiger is a female character who is actually his nephew. So
niece.
Like,
I mean, it could have started as his nephew. We're not here to judge that situation.
Yes.
But I feel like that was probably a misspeak on your end.
Yes, it was. I meant niece. She is in the show. There's a character cast in the show, so there's potential.
So she'll just pick up where he left off. Grab the amulet.
You never know where they go, what directions they could go, but it's possible. Because it is, I feel like it's emphasized, at least at portions, that it is a mantle. It is something that gets passed down or can be passed down. Not really, but sure.
There's a difference. There's all sorts of Spider-Mans.
I mean, that's true, but this is different. It's like a Black Panther, and this is more similar to Spider-Man.
That's sad. That's just reminding us of more sad stuff.
Stop it.
John.
Black Panther is Shuri right now. Okay, stop it. Oh, you didn't see Black Panther too, see?
I did. No, I did. It's just, it's for a second, it sounded like you said my name, but you said Shuri, so it's like
Shuri. I mean, if you want to be Black Panther, that's up to you. I mean,
I could be Puerto Rican Panther.
you can be Captain Puerto Rico.
Can I be White Tiger? Oh snap!
We got Marvel. We may
No, please don't
give us a
cast
call.
me in anything. I don't have that. Listen, I'm not in the kind of shape that you probably need somebody to be in to play a vigilante in one of these shows. I'm gonna need extensive training first.
Just get in the gym. You got this.
That'll be time.
So yeah, any lasting thoughts on Daredevil episode 3? Dang.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't have watched this if you didn't ask me to, and now I'm just like, you know what, this ain't that bad. This ain't that bad. Because the last Disney Plus show that I watched that was in the Marvel universe was WandaVision, and I loved that, but it also broke my heart. So I just was like, I can't keep doing this.
I love that show too.
But it breaks your heart by the end. So I'm like, I need Disney to stop giving me more reasons to go to therapy. Thanks.
Well, at least you missed all the bummers in between. So
thanks.
Disney Plus shows.
Because they were going for quantity, not quality. They had to dial it back, and now they're back on the quality train, which is good.
And that's why this specific show was, to me, the very first one. Is like when they took that, hey, we need to pay attention. I feel like Echo, you can see parts of Echo when because I know they tried to redo Echo, but there was such short a time period, and even I think when I was the John Cast podcast, I talked about Echo, and I just felt like it's overall. It didn't work overall, but there's elements of it that I see. There had to be something that they said, hey, we need to rein this in more. We need to focus this and try to do better, because I felt like there was even stuff like in trailers that just didn't appear. So I felt like Echo was kind of like the beginning of like, okay, we're gonna pay attention to what we're putting out. And then Daredevil, I definitely know because Kevin Feige personally intervened in Daredevil, was like, okay, whatever y'all got going on, we scrapping it. We gonna make a good show. Is what we need to do. So I'm loving the quality, not quantity approach that they're taking with things now, because I know they spread out their movie slate more, and they also spread out the TV show slate. So other than that, we have time for Sherry's D&D corner.
Oh, are there questions for me to cover?
I mean, I always got a question for you to cover.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's do it.
Whether it's a real question, a shenanigan question, I mean, who cares, right?
It's mostly shenanigans with you. You let him shenan once, he's gonna shenan again.
Don't ever say that again.
That was my mom joke of the day. You're welcome.
Are you ready?
I guess.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your character finds a cursed item that gives them an annoying but harmless side effect. What is it?
Oh, annoying but harmless. I feel like she would be the person that's like kind of forcing everyone around her to exercise all the time. Like my orc was super buff, and it was mostly through the power of strength spells, but also orcs as a function are very like hardy, strength focused. They're like a warrior race. So I feel like she'd be like, all right, come on guys, time to do some push-ups, time to do some weightlifting. Like she would annoy the hell out of everybody, making them exercise so that they could be as strong as her.
My mind says 6 o'clock alarm, drop it, give me 50. Like, damn.
Yeah. That would be her. She's like, all right, the sun's up, so you're up. Let's go. We're going to start with 10 burpees. All right. And then we're going to do 50 push-ups and 10 more burpees. And then I got this weight bench that I made out of these branches and rocks.
I know what D&D character I wouldn't be around. Oh, man. Sheesh. That's rough.
You'd be jacked.
That's okay. I'm good. I'm good where I am.
And she'd be over here, like, for her workout, she's, like, lifting you and the weight bench and the weights while you're lifting the weights on the weight bench.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Like, this question just... That's a lot. That's a lot. Like,
I was thinking, like, of her fundamental personality. Like, I had a character previously where it was in a Curse of Strahd campaign, which it's... for anyone that's played D&D is probably very familiar, because that one was a really big one for a while, got very popular. And there's this tomb that you go into, and there's a whole bunch of like trapped demons. I want to say, no, I think they're like devils. They're like whatever. You make a deal with them, so they'll give you something good, but that good thing comes with something bad. And like I picked the thing that gave me like super strength because I was a paladin. So I got like really, really strong for 10 days, but my flaw was going to be for the rest of time, I bullied everybody. I was just a bully. Like anytime you did anything, like I was on your throat. And I'll tell you what, I had so much fun playing that character.
I'm gonna tell you the example that's listed here as an answer. It says that you find a dagger that allows you to remain invisible, but you have uncontrollable hiccups whenever you tell a lie.
Oh, that'd be bad. Although my character didn't really like, towards the end of the campaign, she didn't lie. She was like brutally honest in such a way that like people probably wish that she would shut up more.
No comment.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I mean, I wonder where that came from. You know, listen, people don't like radical honesty. Not in a D&D campaign, not in life. They just don't like it, and that's okay. I do. But like
I lie all the time, so
you don't.
My name is not actually John.
So. It's John Tavius.
It could be.
I'm gonna make everyone believe that that's your name. They're gonna be like, "Hey, John Tavius." They're gonna be coming into your Twitch streams. "Hey, John Tavius, how are you today?" You'll be like, "Who the hell?"
Like when? Who? Huh?
I was like, I don't know who John Tavius is, but he's not here.
I only acknowledge that name's on Tuesday at 5:00. So.
Okay, you make
there
that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So when
right when your stream is ending. Yeah.
Yep, Tuesday at 5:00. Somebody come in and say, "Hey, John," say, like, "What up?" And then just click.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, "This is his Instagram. This is his Twitch. This is his TikTok." Send his messages there.
Make an Instagram for every character.
That's gonna be a lot of Instagrams because you've got more personalities than people have shoes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I guess. But,
I'm like the movie Split.
That movie was horrifying.
Yeah, I have a 23rd personality. It's called. I forgot what it was called. I can't remember.
Right. So on that note, so I feel like we're coming to the end of our episode this week. So as always, I want to wish all of you guys to embrace the chaos within. Just do what you want. Who cares what people think? If they don't like it, well, don't talk to them anymore.
What she said.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Later.